Hey everyone, today is October 6th, 2025, and we just drove up to far northern Maine. We are right next to Moosehead Lake. That's why the fall foliage is still really beautiful. The lake produces fog and it keeps everything a bit warmer and more moist. So this area's got a lot of nice color left. Moosehead Lake right now is the lowest I have ever seen it. But that being said, it's not as low as some lakes. It's still pretty good. It means we got a bit more beaches around the edge. We're driving out to a very remote section of Moosehead Lake via the logging roads. And we are gonna kayak. We'll check out a few free state campgrounds that are intended for boats only. You can bushwhack or hike out to them, but they're specifically made for boats, kayaks, canoes, that kind of thing. You're allowed to stay there for free up to 14 days, then you gotta move to another one if you wanna keep on camping. That rule is not enforced unless there is a large demand for them. Moosehead Lake even has free campgrounds on some of the islands. Most of them are singular, a few of them are communal, most of them are free. Some do have a pay station, but they're really cheap still at that point. But I don't know if we're gonna use one or not. We might just camp on one of the beautiful pebble beaches. Moosehead Lake has some of the most beautiful rocks you'll ever see. I can't wait to show you some of them once we got it on out there. Grouse birds always love to run across the road in front of you. We're making a huge dust storm out here. Really dry roads. It's like we're driving through a colorful tunnel, and look at that if we zoom in. That up there is Moosehead Lake. You can see the water up there from this hill. That's what we're driving to. A very secluded part of the lake with no houses anywhere near it. You're not going to see a single house in this video. Middle of nowhere, and it's so beautiful out here. There's our turn. Wow, so colorful and beautiful. See, it's a very small road most people don't even know exists. It goes down to the water. Even if there is someone else here, I don't care. Leaving the car here overnight, and we're gonna kayak a couple hours away. There's a big bump coming up. I know these roads by heart. My brain's good at remembering all the big bad potholes and stuff. There it is. This was a bad one even with my truck. Bump. Bump. And we got a typical beaver location coming up. I bet you it's gonna be bone dry like most of our locations this year. Beavers are having a bad year. We just saw their pond was right there. It actually has a good amount of water, so they're good for the winter. But are they still messing with their secondary one at the road here? I'd say yes, but it's so dry this year they're unable to flood it. I'd say yeah, the culvert's probably clogged. Yes, it is, and those are my ribbons. It's clogged. We'll get that tomorrow. We got a while left to drive. chorus bird. Here's another one I flagged. It's a junk plastic that got frost heaved. Everyone, all that driving just to come up to a dead-end road. I love these roads. It's like a smooth racetrack. Thought we were a little bit closer. No, here we are. This is the end of the road. This is a dead end. Got a good mountain view right there. We'll see lots of beautiful mountains from the lake. Moosehead Lake is huge. We go down this very, very steep hill that gets us right up on the water. There is someone else here, but I don't care. We're still gonna use it. So I'll show you what the situation is here. Hopefully I don't interrupt anyone because we gotta launch our kayaks here. So right here, this right here is the abandoned boat ramp. They used to bring log trucks down here, and the log trucks would get onto a ferry. That's the dock. They have islands that they log. This boat ramp won't be open again until the 2040s when the island grows back. You see here they have it all gated off with these big tires and everything. And I'll show you the water in a moment. All right, beautiful lake. All right, there's someone here, but we're gonna get our stuff down. We will kayak, and I'll show you some beautiful scenery. So they put a bunch of water bars here so it doesn't erode, and they planted grass because they're not going to use this thing again for decades. All right, everyone, we got the kayak down. I'll put the ratchet straps away. Let's get it on down to the water. All right, everyone, I just parked the car way out of anyone else's way. So this right here was the loading dock the logging company used. It was a small ferry. You could only fit one machine or one log trailer on. You could not fit a trailer with the truck. They had a semi-truck they just left here, and its only job was moving empty ones onto the boat, taking full ones off, and a bunch of log drivers would just come back and forth, taking the full ones, leaving empty ones here. It's a sort of system they had. And all these tires used to be the old baffles so they didn't smash into the coast. But that's pretty cool. They left everything here. Those beams will still be good in 40 years, but obviously the lumber might have to be replaced. They got all those big tires back there too. I even thought about camping in one at one point, but now I'm gonna try to get everything down there in one trip. We're gonna try this. A lot of people have been telling me to try this sort of tent out, and we're gonna see how it goes. It's got mixed reviews. We're gonna see how that actually works. It's a nice warm day. I'm not bringing a jacket. This seems like a pretty airy tent. So we're gonna give it a try. I brought my sleeping bag. I got the inflatable air mattress. I got a little cooler. I was gonna actually bring some stuff and cook with my little gas burner, but I didn't bring anything. That's empty. I'll just collect rocks in it. And for now, I'm just gonna fill it with water bottles as we stuff everything into the kayak. I got my life jacket on. Got my Crocs, that's all I'm bringing because we're going to a little beach. And I'll show you a few trails and other things around there. We'll even kayak in the beaver bog if the water is high enough. See, the water's only a couple feet lower than it usually would be. This lake does not fluctuate much at all. But let's try to get all this down there in one trip. Super beautiful still water. There's no wind today. Really nice. You could actually walk the coast very easily without even getting wet down to any of the free campsites on the coastal area. Crystal clear. All the rocks here are like they went through the first or second stage of a rock polisher. Usually the water's up here. These perfect little stones. But I'm all packed. I can fit a good amount in these kayaks because I don't use the leg space. I cross my legs when I'm in a kayak. It's more comfortable. This was a little hard to jam in there though. But we got space in there. We're good. That big flashlight's a little in the way. There we go. That'll be hard to get out of there. I'll show you everything we got once we get out there. All right, time to go. It's already hot out. It's not even noon and it's already in the 80s for temperature. Let's try not to get too much water in here. And we do have a passenger in here with us, but he can stay there. I don't mind. It's dry myself and we're about to push off. This cooler's a little in my way. I don't want to crush the new friend, so the new friend is gonna come on. I don't want to crush you. You can go up there. All right, perfect fit. All right, and we're out. Moosehead Lake is a big place, so it can get choppy. I've been on here with this exact kayak with waves going over the front of it. Today is a very perfectly still day. We're gonna feel this guy's waves in a couple minutes. But you see, there's lots of boats. It's a big, deep lake. So there could be anyone at these campsites, but there's less of a chance because it is a Monday night. And we'll stop at a bunch of various sites and I'll show you the layouts. Now, originally, when that boat ramp there was open, the log trucks used to go out to what's called Sugar Island. There's a few private houses on there, a few free campsites, and guess what? There's logging roads on the island. That's kind of cool. Not bad at all. We're finally feeling the waves from that boat a couple minutes ago. When I was a kid swimming at this lake, I used to love when boats went by. This was fun for swimming, the waves. But what you're seeing here, from there, all of that over there, that hill, that's all one big island called Sugar Island. And that is where the logging ferry used to bring log trucks back and forth to. We're in the middle of nowhere. Some of this coastline is pretty rocky, has no beach. And some of it is beautiful sandy beaches. There's rocky beaches. There's little smooth pebbles, which are my favorite. But we're just gonna slowly go down the coast. We have zero wind out here fighting us today. This is so nice. It's really hot, so I do have a lot of water accessible to myself. I don't know what's wrong with this guy. He's not moving around. There's loons out here. I can hear loons. We got beautiful mountain, and there's where we came from. That's where the ferry would have been. As a little kid, I used to love going down when they weren't working and walk out onto the dock and the ferry. It was really cool. But that was back in the days when we had some friends up here that owned campgrounds and they knew all the loggers and everyone, so that was a while ago. And when it's quiet like this, people on the coast can definitely hear my voice. It's very still and pristine out here. Honestly, there's probably no one around for miles, minus the person in the boat and the couple people camping right there. I've actually camped in that exact same spot a couple of times years ago. But now we're going to a place that I haven't been to since I was really little, so we're gonna have some fun today. But it started moving around. Such variety. Look at this. Jagged shale rock. Then you go over here. Little pebbles. Down here, big rocks. And the water is crystal clear. And the water is so warm, I can't wait to go swimming once we set up somewhere. This is so pretty. It's like a little cave right there. I want to stay close to the edge. And then I want to go out into the open area. Look at that tree. Mountain in the back. This is such a pretty place. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty in there. Look at that. Look at all that shale. I bet you could just pull that apart and use it for skipping stones. That's incredibly beautiful right there. And this tree right ahead of us, I can just use my hand right here to kind of push me around. But yeah, even the shale is slightly smoothed over, so it's nothing super sharp. As a little kid, there was one time I was in this area, it was so choppy that you easily could have got smashed against the edges. The waves were so bad. And I was with my grandfather that time. He tied onto my kayak and he pulled it back, and I just walked back with my grandmother on the shore because he didn't want a little kid being in the choppy waters. But today is super still. You can hear an airplane coming. There's lots of aircraft that land on this water. A lot of airplanes like that around here people own. Every couple of minutes the coast changes. The jagged cliff is gone. It's bigger boulders and a little bit of beach. So quiet, all I hear is birds chirping out here. No one around. And over here, we got a raven friend. Here's the raven. I feel like I could actually get a sunburn today, just paddling out here. Some areas the rocks are very smooth. You splash water up there, you gotta slip and slide. And there are some areas that are great for diving and jumping coming up too. These campsites also used to be known for bears, so you gotta be very careful with your food and use bear bags. Beautiful rocks. Look over here. On the coast, that is a huge piece of quartz. This is probably one of the most beautiful places you can kayak. Now the area has all these big rocks, the steep cliffs are gone, but some of the rocks that are quite a bit out in the water are the ones I was talking about. You swim out to them and it's great for diving. The water next to some of these can be super duper deep. I have no idea where the caterpillar friend went, but the water is crystal clear. I can see right down to the bottom, and it's probably 12 feet deep here. It's so crystal clear. I have water purification. I probably shouldn't even have brought all my bottled water. You see up there in the distance? That's called a monoculture. The logging company planted all the same tree. That's why it looks like that. Probably balsam fir. So it's easier to cut down in the future and it grows really fast. That's what that is, way, way up there. I've been seeing this for a while. A bucket in a tree. I'm wondering if that's marking one of the campsites so it's easier for people to get back to it. No, I guess not. But look at the reflection of the fall foliage. It looks really nice. And right now we're about to go between these rocks. I wouldn't say diving, but this area is definitely deep enough to do some awesome cannonballs off of some of these rocks. It's so pretty. When it's still and quiet like this, just us casually talking, you can hear that so far away on the coast. Just listen to the echo in the woods. Woo! That goes so far. Wow, this is pretty. I just slightly bottomed out on a rock so I could take a quick break. All I can hear in the distance is a couple hums of airplanes, but it's so nice out here. All right, I just set the tripod up so I can show you some of this. Wow. All right, we're on this pretty good, this rock. Maybe we gotta back up instead. Get off the rock! We're not moving! Okay, I'm gonna take my oar, put it down in the water, and shove the rock. There we go. Okay. I hear an airplane getting loud. I think we're gonna see one. A lot of the airplanes and boats actually like stopping at the place we're going. It's really beautiful. Right here, going between these rocks is a lot of fun. Oh, there's the airplane actually. See it? That guy can land on the water wherever he wants. Pretty cool airplane. Places like this, even if you're not at a campsite, camping is really good. This place was a lot of fun when I was a little kid. It was only a couple-hour ride from my grandfather's house. This kayak is the same kayak I was using when I was a little kid, but it still looks brand new because it was stored indoors. The elastics have to be replaced though. I tried using them today and they break if you try. But the kayak's still good. And this kayak's 20-something years old. It's been around a while. But I'm the only one in the family that likes using it. Most of the family's short, and they find this kayak too big and bulky. But I love it. I can't find another one in the stores like it. That other kayak, the camouflage one I have, it's only good if it's loaded up. It's not a great kayak. This thing is really good. It can carry a lot of weight in it because it's big. It's also good for choppy water because it's wide. And I got no problem operating it. There's more rocks coming up. I'll show you a little bit of myself paddling here. I do feel like I might be getting a slight sunburn, and it's October. It snows usually in October in Maine, the end of the month. It's the beginning of the month, but we could be seeing snow in only a couple weeks. We only have 2 more days that are hot like this, then it is gonna be way below freezing every night. Under the water, there's white pieces of quartz that really stand out from everything else. You see here, this is a pretty rocky beach, but these areas can be interesting to explore at night because there'll be lots of critters around here. If you flip over rocks with a flashlight, you'll find crayfish. Especially when it's still, you can see everything out here. Look at the water next to me, how clear it is. Got more fall colors, another big batch of rocks coming up. The water's so still. I'm the only thing making waves. Over here, there's a good amount of beach. This area. It is hot out. It feels like the middle of the summer today. It's a really hot day. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have some sort of sunburn being out here. But it's okay. Tomorrow morning we're gonna leave early before the sun even gets up. Cause this is a couple-hour kayak ride. And I gotta take breaks cause it's warm. Gotta drink a lot of water out here today. Can't wait until it starts feeling like fall again in a couple of days. It'll be nice. I would really love it if it started snowing because I have never kayaked when the water's still warm, but there's snow. That'd also be very beautiful to see. All right, we're gonna take a little break and get out of the sun. I don't plan on staying here for the night, but this is one of the free state campgrounds. Looks like no one's here. This is one of dozens on the lake. This is solitary, only one party of people at a time. It's not one of the communal campsites. Okay. And I'm definitely swimming when we get to the pebble beach I want to see. Okay, time to get out. We got Crocs, so just step into the water. The water's so warm, and we'll just pull it to shore so it can't float away. And I'll show you what we got. That rock's cool. It's got a bunch of big holes in it. Let me show you that. And the rocks are all super smooth. This is a nice beach. Yeah. Ooh, that's a really cool one. Look at those lines. Cool. Got some big holes in the rock. There's a couple parts of this lake. Like up here, if I continued along this coast for a couple hours, there's like a corner of the lake. The water's crystal clear, but under the water, there is, I'm gonna keep that, I wanna polish that. Hundreds, maybe thousands of huge old growth logs under the water, sunken. There's not much oxygen, so they take forever to rot. Back in the day, the logging company used to use the lake to float them across with barges and stuff, and sometimes they'd break loose, and that's where they ended up. So we come up here, and by the way, this is called North Point Campground. Got the big fire pit. It's got to be dug out. That is super filled up with ash. But all the campsites have a toilet if they're official. Picnic table. Here's rules. You can't have fires at all this year. Forest Service has been putting up signs, $10,000 fine if you have an open fire. And there's an outhouse somewhere. There it is. Let's go take a look over here at it. And there's no trail, it doesn't go anywhere. We're out in the middle of nowhere. No toilet paper. Usually there's a roll or two. The park rangers, when they check these, are supposed to stock it, but it is off season. And you notice all the branches are cut because everyone's breaking them to make fires. So you just gotta walk a little ways. There's still a lot. Campsites like this, even during tourist season, as a kid, I would go to these, not to camp at them, but just to visit. And I honestly never saw anybody at them. They're rarely used because they're for boats only. And these trails are basically just people going to collect firewood. There is no way to get to campsites like this other than boat, unless you walk the beach or bushwhack from a nearby logging road, because there's logging roads everywhere. And I love how smooth the pebbles are. They're so smooth and polished. See, it's like aquarium gravel. On a normal year, the water would be up here in the little ones, and when this stuff's wet, it looks so pretty. But we're gonna continue on. There is at least 2 more of them along our journey, and these are spread super far apart. Your neighbor will never bother you. This time of year, I don't even think the rangers check. In the summer, they'll check on everyone because they document how long certain parties of people are here, so you don't hog up one spot all summer long. All right, we're backing out of this campsite. Just drip drying my feet because I don't want a puddle in here. Okay. Trying to get out of the rocks. Here we go. Look at that view. Look at those beautiful mountains covered in fall colors. Got some boats out here now. We'll be experiencing their waves soon. We got this giant tree. It fell over, then it started straightening out again. Must have been like that a couple decades for it to do that. Look at this, everyone. We finally can go kayak into some shade. It's so hot, I feel myself getting sunburns on my fingers. And you know what's in the distance up there? I can't believe it still exists. That has been there since I was 5 years old. That teepee has been there since I was 5. I kind of want to camp in that. But we just arrived at another campsite. It doesn't look like anyone's here either, so let's get out and take a look at it. It's been 2 hours since we got on the water. It's been almost a half an hour since the last campsite, so I need a break. It's amazing how much fall color there still is here just because we're next to the water. In the morning it's foggy and they can absorb that, so the drought doesn't affect them as much. But their roots do not reach the water. Most of these trees only have roots a couple feet into the ground. Another pit, it's got to be really dug out. It's filled up. And they got the grate chained up so you can't take it. Spencer View. Nice picnic table. It's got another outhouse. And you can tell sometimes there's violent storms on this lake. That's how you get all this gravel all the way up into here. Waves do come up into here sometimes and flood the place. But once again, there's not really a trail. There is sort of a little trail made by people because the water's usually right up here. And there's gonna be one more free campsite coming up. With the low water, you could walk down to the next one very easily. But normally the water would be up here to where the smaller pebbles are. And that down there is a huge, beautiful beach. Yeah, we'll try to camp next to the teepee. This place, there usually will be a couple boats at that beach during tourist season. Right now it appears to be empty. I'm kind of surprised the couple boats we passed didn't go here. But it's very beautiful, and that beach is so unique. I'll show you why it's unique when we get there. But I just need a quick stretch, drink some more water. And it is probably further away than it looks. That's probably another half an hour down to the teepee. Well, we made it halfway down to the big teepee. There's another boat, but they're not coming over here. The boats will sometimes anchor themselves and just leave the boat out there, and they'll come to shore to these campsites. There are some really pretty rocks. It looks like an egg. Look at that. That's pretty. And you look around in the gravel, there's all kinds of different colors. And this beach was also one of the best ones for finding shapes. You think of any animal or shape and you can probably find it. But here we are at another free state campsite. It's amazing how rarely these things actually get used. They're in such a beautiful spot. You just gotta kayak a couple of hours. Same with the Maine Northwoods. All those sites are free most of the year. They're free the end of the season, the beginning of the season. The winter, they're free. Summer, they're $30 to maintain them. But almost no one ever uses them. This one's called Beach Haven Campsite. And this is the old growth I mentioned in one of my vlogs. And you won't believe where we are. My profile picture on YouTube of the squirrel, that red squirrel, was sitting on this old growth tree back, I believe, in 2014. Some of my very first YouTube videos from 2014 were at this beach here. There's a bench, some stairs. I remember this. I was like 12 or 10 years old when the park rangers first made that little seat. Except back then this tree wasn't rotten. It had freshly broken off from up there. Let's go see what we got. Now this campsite, I know, even when the water's higher, has a direct trail to the beach. So this is probably the best one. There's still lots of dry firewood, so when they lift the burn ban, there's all kinds of good stuff. It's got a clothesline. It's got a fire engine. Someone was nice enough to pick up this glass so no one steps on it. Now this fire pit's been dug out real nicely. Someone left extra firewood. You got the trail to the toilet. That's the trail to the next campsite. Probably a 10-20 minute walk. In the kayak, it took me about 10 minutes to get here. And this, you can tell they've been trimming. The beautiful trail to the beach. So nice. And it's free. Such a nice campsite. What do you guys think? Should I make more videos next summer using a lot of these wilderness campsites? Because there's ones on rivers, there's ones next to waterfalls, ponds, islands. Maine has so many awesome campsites. And what's unique about this beach, now that we're getting closer, you might be able to start seeing it. There's probably a strip of 30 feet of beach line now that the water's low. Behind the beach line is a thin strip of trees. And then there's another body of water back there where there's always moose, there's always beavers. It's called a bog in the back there. It's not connected, but there's like a swampy, murky body of water back there. And there's also another one right here. I'm actually gonna walk a little bit. I'll come back to the kayak. Some of these rocks are slippery because the sun's not drying them off. I love how smooth these rocks are. But as you walk the beach, they get smaller and smaller with some white sand patches. Yep. This right here is its own independent bog. You got a big bog that I have videos when I was a young teenager. When I first started the channel, we would bring it out in there and look at beavers. Lots of nice quartz. It hasn't been raining. If it had been raining, this would all be nicely cleaned off, all the dust. Here's that trail from the campsite. And yeah, it's a bit low. This would be filled up nicely. It's level with the lake. But beavers like these little bogs. And you got this nice natural barrier. Perfect for swimming. The water here is so warm. But I'll show you. There's a big one. Then there's another one. And if you look over there, there's another beach with a bog behind it. That one used to always have a duck family when I was little. They were nesting over there. And if you go all the way around this next piece of land and into the little corner, there is that's where all the old growth timbers and logs are that got lost during storms like 100 years ago. They all collect over in that corner. And when the water's right, this was always the rock to jump off of. It would be like 8 feet behind it. All right, let's get the kayak. Go down there to the beach. That'll be nice. I do have my bear spray with me. You want to have that at a bare minimum. Because there's a body of water back there, the animals use this land bridge. Lots of bears will walk that, and you don't want them to have any reason to break into your tent. Use a bear bag. Don't cook next to the tent if you do camp in a place like that. Ooh, someone else is coming out here. Are they gonna use this campsite? Well, we're gonna keep ahead of them because I wanna stake my grounds over there at that teepee. Because that's what I really wanna camp next to, because that's really cool. I actually have forgot that existed. But let's push myself back out, try to get in there without stepping in the water. There we go. And as I sit back, try to pull up the boat. There we go. Use the paddle, jam it into the ground. There we go. Push off. And we are going over there to the teepee. Straight over there to the teepee. Those people are just specks on the horizon, but yet I can hear what they're saying. It's so quiet out here when I'm not paddling. We're almost to the teepee. And since the last time I was out here years ago, I think they made this into an official campsite, the teepee, because there's a picnic table there. Awesome. I don't see a campsite sign, but there's a picnic table. I can't believe it. That's nice. And right now we're experiencing a couple of waves from the boats. This will be fun for swimming. I just want to set my tent up. I'll leave my sleeping bag and stuff here, make room in the kayak, because no one's going to steal stuff like that. But obviously I'll take with me that super big flashlight, any expensive stuff like that. Because I want to go out exploring and go down the coast a bit. Maybe we'll even make it to where those old growths are under the water. That's another hour kayak ride at least. I think I got it in me. But I want to have a quick something to eat. That teepee's cool. It doesn't look like something I want to camp in. It looks like they've been rebuilding it a lot. So there's not much room in it. It also doesn't offer much protection of a bear, because bears will walk by on this narrow beach. Wow, it's so clear, the water. And look how small the pebbles are. I love this sort of beach. Yeah, this is gonna be the campsite we use. Let me get out and show you a little bit. All right, step out. Pull the kayak up. And we'll relaunch later. But we gotta set up our tent and everything. There's actually a lot of kayakers coming over. Maybe they're using the Spencer View campsite. I think it said it was called. Picnic table, that was never here before. I suppose during a storm it could have floated here from one of the campsites, because it looks pretty old. That definitely wasn't put here. Yeah, I think it floated from somewhere, but we'll camp here. You look through here, this is where the beavers used to always live. It keeps the same level as the lake through groundwater. Yeah, I'm not gonna put the kayak in here. This is very low, but there's an island. One time I kayaked all the way up in there. There's a big beaver dam. I have a video of myself going up over it, putting the kayak back, going deeper up there into the swamps. That was nice. But let's try setting up that 3-second tent and see if that's actually if it really sets up easily or not. But don't judge it the first couple setups, because I probably have to get used to it. Some of those people might be like, oh man, we wanted that campsite. That's why I made sure to get over here fast. This teepee thing has been here since I was a little kid, and I want to go inside it. That is actually pretty cool. It's like a human-sized beaver lodge in there. You can see the mark. Someone else pulled a boat up here. Yeah, we'll use this campsite here. And then there's another bog right down there at the end where you see all those red trees. Oh my gosh. We gotta investigate that. It looks like a tree laying on the ground. I think that was the biggest tree at the beach. That thing used to be so much fun to go visit. This is the first time I ever set this tent up, and yeah, it works as advertised. It stands right up really fast. Not 3 seconds, but you can set it up in like a minute. You just unfold the corners, lift, and it's done. So I guess if I got faster, this is my first time, I could probably set it up in 20 seconds, quite literally. Now to put it down, some people had problems, but we'll see in the morning. See, it has instructions everywhere. Push down. This way? How do I push down? I might have a problem releasing it, but we'll figure that out in the morning. Here's someone else coming in a boat to enjoy the beach, but we got here fast. It took us over 2 hours of paddling to get here. That party of people wasn't happy because this is where they were going. That we got here first. That's nice. We'll put our stuff in here and hopefully no one messes with the tent if we decide to go out. But yeah, this thing works good. It has a rain cover that you could cover all this stuff with. I'm not going to use that today. Seems unnecessary. It's not going to rain on this trip, and I never use these things for repacking. It came with a nice bag. We can throw out the box and everything. We'll set up the sleeping bag in there. It's a dark color. This thing will get really hot in the sun, but we won't be in there until the evening. There's nothing sharp, so we didn't bother laying down a tarp or anything. I knew this beach was going to be nice and soft on the bottom. I spent a minute looking at this, and now I completely understand how it closes. Look. Okay, I understand it now. This thing will go down very quickly. All right, everyone, so I brought a lot of water. Headlamps, these things go like 4 hours a piece. Lots of water. Another camera light. I brought a saw, which I don't need because we're not starting a fire. Bug spray, which I also don't need because this area's already had a couple deep freezes, so the mosquitoes are gone. We had frost within the last week. No mosquitoes, but it got really hot again. I can feel myself tanning. I got power banks in there. Underwater light. That's for the bear bag. And I got this burner right here because I actually was thinking about making some burgers in this, but because it's so dry, I really don't want to attract a bear. Bears hang out when there's near water and stuff when it's a drought to look for food. I was going to try making burgers in this little pan, but I'm going to use it, grab some water, boil it, and I'll put my MRE meal right into it, the packet, because the heaters always suck. So we're going to use this thing to slowly heat up the MRE later for dinner. But as far as the other people here, they were going to come over here, but this was my plan all day. I'm not going to let someone else grab my thing. That's why I came over here really, really quickly. Well, that boat's leaving now. They went swimming for like 10 minutes and took off. Another half an hour later, all those people were leaving. And we are finally alone. I can shout as loud as I want and nobody would hear it. They're around that corner and off back to another campsite. So we got this beautiful campsite all to ourselves. I talked to that guy who came out here with the motorboat, and he said he was actually surprised to see someone out here in August. He said this place is usually abandoned in August, but he's a local. He brings his boat over here all the time just for the beach. He only swam for 10 minutes and left. Then shortly after, that party of people that I thought was going to spend the night on that little beach over there ended up leaving. So now we're all alone, and that's nice. That's an awkward situation. But we had this place planned out for a long time, and we got here. We set down our stakes, and whoever sets their stakes down first gets the spot. And now because they're gone and they're going to set up somewhere else, I don't have to worry about any sort of conflict, or if I want to take off with the kayak, about anyone messing with anything. But I'm going to put a bunch of my stuff in there that's heavy so it doesn't blow over. But it's very still. I don't think that's going to happen. I didn't even stake it down. That tent actually, if it holds up for many dozens more camps to come, this will definitely be worth the money. So this was the most expensive tent I ever bought. I'm not sponsored in any way. This was $150. People keep telling me after they see ads, I think, to give it a shot. So it does have pretty high quality poles and stuff, and you would pull these to release. Now up here, it tells you to pull down, but no, you got to squeeze both these together at the same time and it releases. If you're short, you might have a problem with that, but I'd say if you're, I don't know, 5'5" or taller, you're gonna have no problem taking this down by yourself. But if you are shorter, you might want to have two people or a stool. But this thing, it goes up super fast as advertised once you learn how to use it. But if I use this in the future, it will literally pop up in 3 seconds once it's spread out. So from the box to being set up, once you get fast, you could get it actually set up in 20 seconds or something. And it looks like it would pack down very, very fast. Also, got my big sleeping bag, my little cooler, and this is the box, which I'm gonna throw out because it came with a nice bag. It came with stakes. This is the rain cover that would go over the top. I love how it has 2 doors. It's got a screen we can open up. It's got 2 doors, so if you're sleeping in here with 2 people, you don't have to crawl over the other. It looks like you could comfortably sleep 3 people, maybe even squeeze in a 4th. That's a nice tent. So now, let's go walk around. Like I said, the water's a bit low. I'm used to this beach being a lot smaller. When I was a little kid, I used to jump off that rock all the time. I'd go camping here on this beach with my grandfather. We did that quite a few times. It was always fun. This teepee, I'm not sure if it's the same one or if people keep rebuilding it, has literally been here since before I was born. That is so cool. I'm so happy we're alone because, like I said, your voice, it carries. Even when those people were paddling away, you could still hear them talking, and you could pretty clearly hear what they were saying too. So, over here has changed a little bit. When I was a little kid, there used to be a little bridge to go over there. It's no longer there. When this water is high up here, this is almost non-existent, this little bridge. This beaver dam also was never here. It looks like the beavers at one point had an attempt to stop their water from leaking through, but water goes through this beach very, very easily, so it didn't work. But I used to kayak over here in this swamp. I don't think it's worth it. I'd be hitting a lot of things. It's very shallow. But moose would always be in here when it is evening. Maybe we'll get lucky and see a moose. That would be so cool. And these are the smoothest little pebbles. Yeah, no cannonballs today. If the water was like 3 feet deeper, it would be like perfectly up to the top of this, perfect for a cannonball. Never diving though. That is so beautiful, that tree behind us. I want to walk down there to that old growth that I was zooming into that fell over. And I think there's a tiny little bog, and then I showed that one over there. Let's go look at the little bog first because we're closer. This morning on my drive up here, I got 2 breakfast burritos. I brought one with me, I still have it. That'll be my afternoon snack. Then we'll cook up something later on tonight. And because this isn't sand, it's very difficult to tell human and bear tracks. But bears used to use this land bridge. Moose would use this land bridge. You see a lot of nature here. And there's pretty fresh beaver chew marks on that tree. So I'm sure they're also around. But you see all the driftwood. During storms, Moosehead Lake has current flooding into this. But on a normal year, when I'm walking here, would have water. That's why you got a trail right here. You walk this, you go up a trail, the trail comes back down. And that trail exists because both those campsites, typically you'd have to get your feet wet to get over here. This might be a record low, and it's really not that low. And here's a nice big old growth stump. Yes, there is a extremely teeny little bog, and it looks bone dry. And there's the trail again because that's usually flooded. Yeah, this is completely dry. It's just full of wood. It's pretty cool. We'll go back out probably in the kayak when it starts getting dimmer. But I do want to try to take the kayak back out and show you all the logs under the water, because you can really only get that on camera when the water's still. Look at that. Goes right up to the water and turns around. I think we had a moose drinking here. Those are moose tracks. I hear another boat. We might have a few more visitors today. But even as a little kid, it's very rare when someone packs up for the night. It's just a beautiful beach people come here to see all the time. I want to look at that old growth. Ooh, more moose tracks. See that? It came down to the water to get a crystal clear drink and then back to the swamp. They love hanging out in the swamp, but it looks like the moose is smart. It would rather drink the crystal clear water. More moose tracks. There's more moose tracks on this beach than human tracks. And those tracks are distinct. A bear paw is flat, kind of more like a human foot. So it's hard to identify what is what. Thinking back, when we did that camp called the Secret Beach in Florida, it was similar to this. You had the ocean and you also had salt marsh behind you. Similar. All right, we're zoomed in 10 times. You got a big beach. When I was little, we used to always say this big tree was gonna fall because it had a bunch of damage to the base, and it looks like it finally did. I remember waves really bashing up against those. The water here doesn't seem that low. I think the water here is actually higher than that. It's not the same bog. Looks like here the beavers may have been actually able to seal it. Yeah, this is actually holding well. And I heard something big run away when I was walking here. I remember as a kid, I even put my kayak in here. Not a super big bog. You can probably get to the other end in 5 minutes. But wow, it's holding water. It's barely below capacity like the other ones. Let's see how this tree came down. And it looks like it just came down this year. The needles aren't even dead, but the bottom is still connected, so who knows. Oh, just getting a spider out of my shoe. Look at that. No, actually, I don't think this looked rotten. I think it was leaning severely. See how it's got that curve? Look at that. Big old tree. The next storm will probably push it further up here, even take it somewhere far away. This is so nice. Tonight I'm gonna look around with the massive flashlight when it gets dark. I bet we'll see crayfish and other aquatic creatures. And here's another trail. Look at this. It keeps going. It goes to other bogs. But we're not gonna take that. We'll take the kayak in a little while. The way it's walking, these are bear tracks. Moose doesn't walk that close together. That's bear. That's a bear, but it's impossible to know if those tracks are a day old or a month old. I remember finding pretty cool rocks at this beach, so I gotta look for some interesting things I can rock polish. I wanted a few specifically from this beach. Looking down, I don't see really much that catches my eye, and I think it's because I grew up here. This stuff is normal to me. Nothing really stands out like when I get things from far away places. Here's the moose trail again. Yeah, you can see their hoof. I'm also looking for bear poop because that would give me a approximation of when they were here, if you know how dried up it is or not. Yeah, look at that, moose tracks. This is more solid and less muddy than I thought it would have been. Pretty cool. We got a little island out here. A lot less dried up than I thought it would have been. Wow, look at this. Look at that beaver chew mark. That's beautiful, actually. Not the type of poop I was looking for, but I think you gotta be a special kind of someone to do that. Why do you even bother picking it up and putting it in a bag that doesn't decompose? Throw in the bush. Or better yet, train your dog to go into bushes, then you don't even have to touch it. The wind is actually starting to pick up, but I'm gonna try to get you down there, and I wanna show you where all those logs are. I think I can get there and back in like 90 minutes, especially since we're light. Less drag, I'll be able to move faster. But hopefully this saves my spot. I left some things up there. Hopefully no one messes with anything, but nothing expensive is really left behind except the tent. We're very light. I just threw some water in here. Super light, so we should be able to move faster. I want to show you a couple more bogs. See, there's another beach down there with water behind it also. I think there's a couple of them. Then we're gonna go out to a point. There's someone's house there. Then we're gonna go down into a valley, no, like a little gully, whatever you want to call it. All the logs got stuck there and sank years ago. But I think we can get all the way out to that tip, which I think is called Spencer Point, and get all the way back in there. I think we can get there in half hour because we're so light now. Because I was looking at it on the map. If it took me 2 hours to get here, I can get there and back in less than that time. It's not that far. But hopefully no one else shows up and messes with anything. I don't think they will. I don't think anyone's actually going to show up, because when it's getting to this point, anyone who is coming out with the intention of camping probably would have wanted to get here a lot earlier to enjoy it a bit. But I'm gonna do that, and when I get back I'll still have a couple hours to swim, and I'll probably even swim into the evening. It's beautiful. Hopefully the bear doesn't mess with my stuff. Hopefully. Speaking of the bear, I don't think it'll be able to smell my MRE because it's in a bag, but I just remembered I have a burrito in here I need to get out and eat right now. There we go. I'm just leaving my heavy pack like that. Maybe someone will think someone's sleeping in there. I guess I'll eat this as my afternoon snack. All right, let's get going again. And we're off. We're gonna stick to the coast because that's where you see the interesting stuff. Super clear water. Yep, it's getting a little bit choppy. Here's that other beach. It's also got a pond behind it with that one tree in the middle. It's always been there like that. And we can barely see where we're camping now. We're halfway out to Spencer Point, then we got to go back the other side, so we're like a quarter of the way there. Waves are getting a little bit worse. You're not supposed to kayak like this. You're supposed to go into them. So over there, then I would go there if it was super choppy, but it's not that bad yet. A little choppy though. If I'm not careful, this could literally flip me now. It's getting bad. Just looking on the horizon, making sure no one's around before I am about to not be able to see the tent. And the one house is over here. That's their yard. All right, the waves are getting really big now. I gotta be careful here. There's a seagull. And that's an island over across there. I've been to that island before. I've even kayaked around it. There's a lot of shallow rocks over there that seagulls hang out on. I gotta make sure I don't hit a rock because I will flip. We're close to the shore, so I didn't put my life jacket back on. Look at a seagull. We're getting close to you. Get a few still pictures of you, Mr. Seagull. Okay, a big wave is coming. I gotta be more cautious. You don't want to be, oh, big wave. I gotta handle this, so I gotta put you down for a moment. All right, it went by. All right, Spencer Point. That means we're halfway to the location. And look at that seagull. Oh, there he goes. Can no longer see the Pebble Beach. I don't see any boats or anyone on the horizon, but it's still on this side. Nice. This will be a little bit challenging on the way back, but nothing we can't manage. Wow, look at the fall foliage on that mountain. That is so beautiful. We're all alone. It's only choppy out there. I can hear it. We're guarded over here. Now we just got to get down there. That's where I remember all the logs being. This house is beautiful. It even has its own marina. All right, maybe you wouldn't call it a marina. It's more like a barrier of rocks, so if it is wavy, your boat doesn't get destroyed. But look at this flat, rocky beach. It goes out so far. The logs are way down there. Seriously, spam risk is calling me. I accidentally picked it up. There's so many sandbars and shallow areas exposed. It's so shallow here. Wow. Look at that fall foliage. Slightly past peak, but it looks beautiful. Water bottles are so cheap now, I literally can't tighten it. See, still leaking air. But we got to the area where there's a whole bunch of logs. These ones are small. Looks like just sunken driftwood, but we were trying to find the ones with the cut marks. Maybe I gotta go deeper into here. It's very dry, but you used to be able to go up in there and lift yourself over a beaver dam and continue quite a ways also. It's not what I remember. When I was a little kid, I can definitely see some of them have cut marks, but my memory does not serve me great. You can tell that that one right there looks like it was cut off. Before erosion, this might have been part of the woods back in the day when they were logging. There used to be a beaver dam up in there. I don't even see it anymore, but used to be able to go way up into that valley because of the beavers. There's a huge collection of logs and stuff here. Let's see, is the other side more visible? Oh, wait, there's one that's definitely cut by loggers. The biggest girth I'm seeing today is like 2 feet. Not too big. Just a lot of dead wood, but thankfully it's still. But we gotta go back through that choppiness. How long did that take me to get here? Wow, 35 minutes, not bad. I'm gonna take like a 5-minute pause, catch my breath. That burrito really gave me good energy. Let me finish this bottle of water, take a breath. Then I'm gonna go back nonstop. We'll get there in a half hour. because this time out, I was taking pictures on the way out of all this beautiful stuff. If I go straight there, no seagull pictures, no mountain pictures, we'll be back less than 30 minutes. Let's just take a pause and give it all we got. I don't really think I need to wear my life jacket, so I'm not gonna right now. It's still, even on the way back, if I do flip over, it won't take me more than 2 minutes to get to the coast because I'm not straying from the coast very far at all. It's so hot out, that's why I don't want to wear it. It's dark colored and it is making me sweat. It's still in the 80s, close to 30 degrees Celsius. It's very hot. Tomorrow's going to be the same thing. Then Tuesday, the high, I'm off by a day. Wednesday, the high temperature will be 50 or 10 Celsius with deep freezes every single night after tomorrow night. Every single night's going to be a deep freeze. Summer came back for a little bit and it's nice. But let's quickly get back because I wanna swim, then make dinner. Then we gotta I'm gonna put my whole backpack up in the tree so bears don't mess with it. Look at the still water where it meets the waves. Ooh, we're turning towards this guy's house. We better stop. Here we are, about to hit the waves. Look at it bashing into those rocks. We gotta give it all we got. This is gonna be hard the next 20 minutes. This is not the worst I've ever been in, but someone inexperienced could flip just from these waves. When I'm under power, every single one goes over the wave. I mean, every single wave goes over the bow. I'm dyslexic, I sometimes say things backwards. Yeah, if I'm under power, paddling, it will go over the bow. That's why I'm all wet in here now. Okay, this is my all wet. This is getting scary now. I got splashed bad. There's a lot of water in here now. Nope. It's trying to turn us sideways and that's how you flip. Here comes another one, I think. We're having some waves that are turning and they're not even near the coast. They're so big. I can finally see camp again. We should be there soon. My phone's all wet. I can barely pull down the bar to look. Okay, yeah, it's gonna take twice as long for us to get back. It was so wavy out there at Spencer Point. It got all over the kayak. Some of those waves were turning that I had to go through and it splashed. We got puddles in here. We got to drain the kayak when we get back. Thankfully, I didn't have all my gear and stuff in here. It's okay. We can dry everything. The camera's waterproof. My phone's waterproof. The big flashlight isn't technically waterproof, but it's been dropped in water and it's fine. There's a seagull. It's taking a little break. That was a lot of rowing to fight those waves. Now we're finally at a spot that's not that bad. I wasn't afraid of flipping at all over there. I just didn't want to get soaked with my electronics in here. Other than that, I wouldn't have cared. It's really hot out. The water's getting calmer and calmer as we get back. I think out there is just open lake. Lots of area for it to really kick up. In that tree, you can see the curvature of that big old growth that fell over there. We'll be back in 5 minutes. All right, I gotta flip the puddle out of this kayak and then we'll just let it sit in the sun and dry. So you pull this plug, stand it upright, and we can get all the water out of it. Look what the beavers did. They cut this tree down pretty recently. I'm over here sitting in the shade now, and it looks like a boat's coming over. I just rested in the shade for a little bit, caught up on my editing. That boat is all the way out there now. It came ashore, they stepped out. A minute later, left, didn't swim, didn't walk around, didn't anything. Guess it's kind of awkward showing up at someone's campsite, so they just left. That's why I'm assuming they didn't stay at all. It's a big beach, wouldn't bother me. But now the sun's starting to go down. We got a good amount of patchy clouds, so maybe we'll get a absolutely beautiful sunset. There's ladybugs everywhere. I don't know if it's because I have an orange shirt. I don't know if it's because that's attracting them, but I think they're actually Asian lady beetles, but they're everywhere right now. The only thing I don't like about them is when they land on you, you go to flick them off, they secrete this nasty, stinking stuff on you. People say they bite. I've never got bit by one, and I have regularly thousands of them in my house. They all flock there when it starts getting colder out. They can sense it's going to get cold this week, so they're flocking towards shelter. I love the amount of moose tracks. Most of this is moose, not even human. Love it. Well, I better do some swimming. We're not in grizzly territory, so we don't need that on me exactly. That's just going to be next to me when I'm sleeping, pretty much. Black bears I'm not really afraid of. They're afraid of humans. You make a lot of noise, they're going to be gone. Grizzly, on the other hand, which we don't have here, thankfully, you might not be able to scare it away as easily. Swimming time. That water is really, really warm. I'm definitely gonna do more swimming. Well, I'm super clean now. I gave myself a bath. I found out I wasn't recording it, so I gave myself a second bath just so I could show how I do it. I like Dawn dish soap. It's natural. It doesn't make your eyes burn at all if you open them. I like it. Works really, really good for cleaning just about anything when you're in the woods. All right, swimming was nice. Now the sun is gonna quickly set. That should look really beautiful. We got another 2 hours, I think, where we'll be able to see nicely. But I think the sun's gonna set behind those trees in the next 20 minutes. So we got another MRE that we haven't tried yet from the new boxes I got. We're gonna give this one a try. Here's some rocks I collected that I want to try tumbling. This one's got a cool groove. This one's pinkish. That'll really pop when it's shined up in white. This one's got a bunch of little marks in it. That will shine up pretty. I can see it. This one I might leave alone. It kind of looks like a duck or a seagull. This one's already basically polished. Look at how shiny that is in black. This one's really cool. Got some interesting rocks to throw in the rock polisher because I'll have a batch of rocks polished completed on Friday, so I'll be able to add those in there. Ouch. You are sucking my blood. Look at that. Ah. I don't know what this guy is. They're annoying. But once the sun sets, those flies will go away. At least there's no mosquitoes. Alrighty. Just adding some water. And we're gonna start our little burner now. Okay, start getting that hot. And I'm gonna put my beef stew in there. That should heat it up. Let's turn that flame way down. Good. Because the heaters these come with, the American ones, usually work very poorly. A lot of the foreign ones will actually work pretty good. We got vanilla pound cake. Let's see what else we got in here. It came with Skittles, which feel like they all melted in as one big glob. Grape jelly. We have Nutri-Grain snack bread. Peanut butter. So we came with everything we need to make a peanut butter sandwich. I wonder if it's 2 pieces of bread. We'll save that. That'll be breakfast. We have this right here, hot beverage bag, that this heater would be intended to heat up along with the food. And it came with lemonade. It came with coffee. The gum is a substitute for brushing your teeth, which I'll need because I actually forgot my toothbrush. It came with creamer. It came with Tabasco sauce, matches, moist towel, and salt. Pretty good pack for less than $3. This picnic table is in rough shape. You can tell it's old, but they built it with really, really good wood. It's still very strong. The sky is starting to look pretty. I do think those clouds are gonna make this look really, really beautiful soon. This has been sitting over here for a while, so we're gonna turn that off. Nicely hot. Now we'll let that cool down for a bit. And I'm gonna put my entire bag in a tree. I was having fun. I threw a log out there, but it floated back. It's fun to use logs as flotation devices when you have nothing else in the woods. The sun came out again. The clouds were pretty much blocking it. Now it got really, really bright again. I think we're gonna go down there. One of those red trees is where we're gonna string up the bear bag. But we have a while of daylight left. Snack, then everything's going down there. I'm gonna put the whole backpack up there just because the burrito was in it. It probably can still smell that. But yeah. When you're in the woods, even a log, you throw it out there, you can float on it. It's fun for flotation. That's what the lemonade looks like. Looks like antifreeze. I'm having the pound cake while I'm waiting for this to still cool. Looks like that got pretty hot. Still waiting for that to cool. Sunset's gonna be beautiful. Sun is almost down. It's about to suddenly get pretty dark here. That is so beautiful. Almost set. Look at it there. We're zoomed in 20 times. You can literally see it setting. Just look at the center of the sun. You can literally see it going down. I'm gonna keep recording. I bet it'll be completely behind that hill in the next minute. Here we go, sun. Just look at the middle point of it. When I started talking, that middle point wasn't down there. Almost gone. The sky is still gonna look amazing, even when it's completely down. Maybe 2 minutes. It's been a minute since I said that. Yep, still hurts my eyes when I'm not looking at the screen. Almost down. Almost. Only half as much is showing as when I first started it. Well, it's just about down. I can't hold the camera super straight with these guys biting me. We got a bird friend up here. I think my food is, nope, still kind of hot. We down yet? Yeah, now I think we can say it's down. Look at that little sliver. Yeah, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone. We just saw the last sliver disappear. Now the sun is set. Now we'll be like twilight for a bit. This is finally cool enough. That looks really good. Does it need some spice? Probably not. I'll probably save this. It's only 6:10. It's getting dark faster and faster every day. All right, we're walking down to put the bear bag up somewhere. The sky looks amazing. So bear bag, they typically say you want to put it like 300 feet away. I usually don't put it that far, but there's not a huge variety of good trees I'm seeing. Usually you don't want to put it in evergreens because of the branches. There's usually better branches in the maples. So that's what we're looking down here to see. It's still so warm. This feels like it's the middle of summer. Here's those tracks from the bear again. Now, people in my other videos were asking me, how does this stop the bear? Can't the bear just break the rope? Bears don't think like that. Unless they've been taught that. These trees are so pretty. Look at all those beautiful leaves. So now I'm just gonna tie my rope around a rock, put it up over that limb. That's a perfect limb right there, actually. So you just simply tie off to a rock, and you're gonna throw it up over a branch. That wasn't the best rock. You usually want to find a rock shaped like a dog bone. So the rock fell out. We did get it up there though, but the rock fell out, so there was no weight to pull it back down. So now I found this log. I'm gonna try to get through the loop and pull it down so I don't have to try again. Come on. Come on, no. It's a very small loop and a very firm rope. Come on. Come on. All right, after a lot of struggle, I did not get it. I had to rip it down and throw another rock, and it worked now. So there's our backpack. Is that branch gonna hold it? Oh, come on. No, 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 no. No. Maybe. Maybe. Not the best choice, but it looks like it might work. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, come on. No, no. Ah! Damn it. That is beautiful. Look at that. Multicolor in the sky. What's over there? Is that smoke? That is so pretty. All right, we finally did it. It took way more attempts than I would like to admit. But now that is about 10 feet off the ground. I was even standing on these with that. I tried a lot to get that little loop that I couldn't fit the bigger stick through, but I ended up having to throw the rock a couple more times. The sky still looks amazing. Look at that. You got pink, red, and orange. And way over there, I'm pretty sure that's paper mills. Paper mills always have big plumes of steam and smoke coming out of them. That's what I think that is. But we got that good. Tonight just got way more beautiful. So we were camping a couple days ago and we saw the moon. It was so bright you could walk around wherever you wanted. It wasn't full. I just checked, it's actually full tonight. It's gonna be awesome when the moon fully comes up. You'll be able to walk here without flashlights. I gotta stay up at least a couple more hours and see that. And I'll still go to sleep fairly early. I'll probably wake up hours before the sun comes up, take everything down, and get in the kayak at the crack of dawn. Get some beautiful sunrises out there. Ooh, we got irises. Those would have a beautiful purple flower if it was earlier in the year. But look at the moon. We got a full moon. That's so beautiful. And it's just gonna get higher and higher in the sky. Now this is where moose hang out nearly every night. They love this. There's lots of things in here to eat. I forgot to put the soap in the bear bag. And I'm not gonna bring it back. I just brought the soap down there like halfway down the beach. I don't think a bear's gonna mess with that, but I got it far away from the tent. I can see back there the moon. When you have a wide open space, whether you live in a flat area or just have a big body of water, it takes forever for the sun to go down. It's amazing. But I feel it. I believe here in Maine, we lose 2 hours of daylight throughout the month of October. So sun's gonna be going down more like at 5 o'clock pretty soon. Then daylight savings, it's gonna get dark up here around 4. So the rocky beach is not that bad. Nothing really jagged, they're all smooth. I got my sleeping bag. It's for 2 people, so I could fold it over and have a bit more padding. I really appreciate how this tent has very fine screens. It keeps horrible creatures out like the no-see-ums. You can still slightly see the sun now. This beach has no-see-ums either. These teeny little gnats that are barely bigger than the diameter of your hair. But they hurt when they bite you. This beach got them. That's why I'm back in the tent. I don't want to put bug spray on because I don't want anything that might attract the bear. But I am going to go back to the bear bag. I'll put the soap away. Hey, I have my air mattress too. We can set this up for a little bit more comfort. But yeah, I'm going to go back to the bear bag. I'm going to put that stuff up in there. I also want to grab a few more of my lights. Alright, to the naked eye, you can walk around out here. But it's tough. When that moon gets high in the sky, you're not going to have any flashlights. That moon is so bright, it'll be high in the sky in a couple hours, and hopefully it'll still be out and high in the sky when I wake up in the morning. There's so many stars out here. If you do some wide exposure pics, you'd be able to see a lot. Look, there's a star. You can even see some right now on the camera. It's beautiful. But in person, there's hundreds of stars, and if you do a long exposure shot, you would see hundreds of them. I'll take some long exposure shots, and I'll post them in my community tab. I'll show you exactly what that looks like, but we're gonna grab the big flashlight and go back to the bear bag. Way over there. See that flashing light? Lights appear as if they're flashing. They're not actually flashing. I think those are houses over there. Alrighty, I got the big flashlight. The big flashlight, you have to click it 5 times to activate it so it doesn't start a fire if it accidentally gets pressed or if kids get a hold of it. This is on low. That's on high. Big bright flashlight. Wow, you can see over there onto that coast. There's a little bit of fog though. Okay, let me grab my soap. Let's go to the bear bag. We'll just run it on low for now. But the water's warm. Areas like this, the creatures don't seem to be near. They like the more rocky areas because there's lots of hiding spots. If you're looking for like crayfish or anything, they'd be down here by that fallen tree. Oh, look what we got. We got a frog. Pretty cute. Wonder if I'll see any more creatures like that. We could always go take a few peeks over here in the swamp. Maybe we can see a swamp donkey. Or a werewolf, because we got a big full moon tonight. Look at this. This is an animal trail. Look at those beautiful leaves. Light up the whole pond. No moose. We'll take some peeks at other spots too. All right, I'm all set with the bear bag. Time to pull it back up in the tree. Okay, we are resecured. See, there's a bit of fog here. I think that's why a lot of the trees seem like they're doing better, even without the rain. We're going over to this rocky area to look for creatures. I've been using the world's brightest flashlight for quite a while now. It works really good. It lasts a while. If it's on high, it'll only last 20 minutes, but pretty bright. This is low. It'll last half the night. Only bad thing is this likes to unscrew, and if you were over water, you're going to lose your flashlight. I wish they'd mount it to the body like the front part is, because it does come apart. But we're going to look over here at this other swamp. Maybe we'll get to see a moose. Any creatures? Oh, there's lots of fish in there. Lots of fish. This place is teeming with life. Don't worry, we're gonna go on a lot more interesting bogs and take a look. Just want to look for a couple of minutes between these rocks, because I remember seeing lots of creatures in areas like this, and the rocks are covered in slime. You will fall down if you stand on these. So I just stand in the sand between them. Oh, there's a fish. There's exactly who we were looking for. It's exactly who we were looking for. It's a crayfish. It's just like a miniature lobster. Oh, we got another one. Those ones look like they're mating. Okay. And the rocks look really pretty over here. See the quartz all over the place. Yep, just like I remember as a kid, there's still lots of crayfish around here. It's not the stillest water. If it was, you'd see a lot more. We could go look for more in the morning if we get up a while before dawn. These rocks are slippery. But we just saw 3 of them, and look at that. Look who we found there. We found another frog. These guys are getting ready for hibernation. You're actually a pretty big fella in there. It's a big one, actually. Ooh, whoa. It just went by my leg. I felt him. Oh, there's another frog. This time of year and in the spring, they can bounce in and out of hibernation. We got another crayfish. You see why they like the rocky area? They can easily hide. I'm sure we'll see all kinds of creatures out tonight. Another frog, like right there. Is that a piece of glass? It's actually been filed down like sea glass. I'm gonna keep that. It's not sharp. Another frog, little one. I always love to go for a nature walk when we're camping. You can tell up here the environment is so healthy and pristine. You got everything from bears to moose to really happy fish and lots of insects. I've had friends come over that have literally said they would never live in northern Maine after experiencing what we have in June and July. Swarms of deer and horseflies that will chase you and bite you. Their season's over. I think that thing biting me earlier was a cow fly, or wasn't a deer fly. It was even smaller. Didn't hurt as bad though. It also didn't make me bleed like a horse or a deer fly does. Okay. We actually didn't go that far because we're taking our time to look through all these crevices. It's nice out. It's really beautiful up here. Oh my gosh! You are probably the biggest frog I've seen all year. Can you tell how big this guy is? Oh my gosh, you are huge. You are huge. You are a big bullfrog. You've been eating well. Look at the size of you. He thinks we can't see him. He's hiding under the crystal clear water. And we got a little crayfish. I have 2 pet crayfish at home. And when I was going outside looking for a pet crayfish, because I was going to wild catch one, I couldn't find one, so I ended up having to buy 2 of them. These crayfish, the wild ones, can actually get quite big. They usually don't, but they can get up to 10 inches. I have personally witnessed that. And this guy's holding his breath because he doesn't think we can see him. He doesn't know what I actually am. They just see a big light. That's why a lot of animals at night aren't afraid of you, because it can't see you. I'm just looking at this interesting rock. Okay, we'll leave the big guy alone. We'll leave you alone now. I might actually walk the coast right now to that one sandy beach and bog that we didn't stop at. What is that? That is a pretty rock. Oh my gosh, that rock is pretty. Look at that. Wow. I'm keeping that. I don't even think I'm gonna put that in the rock polisher. That is beautiful. Right in my pocket with the piece of glass. Okay. Now this area is a little bit more open and turbulent, so the waves are gonna make the crayfish a little harder to see. Oh, we got one, speak of it. Almost all the crayfish we're seeing are too small for you to want to catch and eat them. You can if you are desperate, but there's really not much there. And those small ones, I've seen people, when they cook them, they'll eat the shell, they'll eat everything, because they're so small it's not even worth picking them apart for the meat. But if you're desperate in a survival situation, you can eat the entire thing. Their shells and claws are actually quite easy to bite through. We ate some of them during a camp last year. Look at these guys. I love frogs. I love them so much. Oh my gosh, we're gonna help you out. We're gonna get that off of you. Hey, you have a leech sucking your blood. Let's get that off of you. So a leech. Wait, we're gonna get that off of you, Mr. Frog. So a leech, you carefully pry it off. We pried it off and we threw it. You get out of there, Mr. Frog. We don't want you getting another leech on you. It's not gonna kill the frog, but it's also not gonna help him either. Some of you might know, I used to have a pet leech. I bought a medical leech, and I made videos feeding it, showing people it's not that scary. The thing lived for quite a few years, and it only required food every 18 months as an adult. Got pretty big. There's a teeny little frog in there. I love frogs. Here's another one right there. Just being very careful not to step on any of them. You know, it's going to be scary if this flashlight dies on me. Let's see. I want to turn it down if I can. Going up, going up. Okay, that's as low as it goes. We'll leave it around here. You don't need it on super bright just to look at the ground. But I charged it before I came, so we should be fine. Another thing I love about this beach is there's so many rocks you can skip. I'm not really doing that today. I'll keep that one, it's a little different. Try polishing different things up. Ooh, another crayfish. If you guys like this area, I'll make more videos next summer when it gets warm again at different lakes around Maine. The lakes in Maine's wilderness, they're all beautiful like this. And what's really cool is, that surprises a lot of visitors, you'll be out in the middle of the wilderness and you will find crystal clear lake like this with rocks. Beautiful pebble beaches on the tiniest little pond. You would think the tiniest little pond wouldn't be able to have waves and clean itself out, but it does. There's little lakes I know of, little ponds, whatever you want to call them. They're only a few acres, but the whole bottom is beautiful, clean pebbles, no mud, no sludge. But as you just witnessed, there can be leeches just about anywhere. I have swam these waters since I was a little boy. I have been in ponds with caution. I've been in lakes, rivers. I've never had a leech attach itself to me in my life. But then I have family members, you don't know if they weren't careful or what, they'll come home with a bunch of them. But some areas you just see it's infested. There's so many. Ooh, that fish. That was a white sucker fish. Ooh. Toad! You're the first toad of the night. Look at you. He wants to desperately hide from us. We'll leave you alone. He's trying to dig down into the rocks. There's another frog. We saw some monster frogs tonight. It's so nice to see frogs. A lot of their swamps have been drying up this year. Oh, there's another big one. That's a fairly big one. Frogs are a sign of a very healthy environment. That's why a lot of ponds and lakes and cities you don't see many frogs. But they're abundant out here. Out here, it's sad driving around during a rainstorm on the logging roads. You'll see thousands of them crossing sometimes. That's a very, very small crayfish right there. He's like the size of my dwarf crayfish I have in my aquarium. I got a dwarf crayfish, full size. He doesn't get more than 2 inches long. Tiny little thing. And the good thing about having a little crayfish is he can't really cause a huge disturbance. A full-size crayfish would kill all the fish eventually and eat them. My little guy kills snails. We suspect he killed a betta fish, but he can't really kill the big goldfish or anyone. I hear something walking in the woods. I also heard a pack of coyotes not too long ago. I don't worry about them guys often. How far until we get to this place? We've been going pretty long. But you know what the good news is, everybody? We don't have to walk this rocky beach back. No, we don't. I just hope for the walk back we have this big flashlight, because this big flashlight can stun animals. It can actually be used to help you out. I've never been in that situation. I've never had any animal really mess with me. I've had curious animals come up to my tent and sniff before. Raccoons, alligators. I had growling outside the tent once in Florida. But I've never had anything be aggressive towards me, camping out. Most animals don't want anything to do with you. The moose don't want anything to do with you. They can be territorial sometimes, but that's very rare. Unless they have a baby, and you should know to stay away. There's another teeny, really teeny little one. There's one that's actually out of the water. Some people don't know that. Crayfish can get out of the water, especially on rainy nights. They can leave the water and they can go into another body of water. Same with leeches. They just have to stay wet, but they can actually come out of the water. Yeah, this area's got a bunch of them. Look at this big tree stump. There used to be trees out here. That's what erosion does over the years. Ooh, these are slippery. This area is like a sanctuary for baby crayfish. There's so many of them, and it's also kind of slippery. See, a normal year, 3 feet of water does a lot. You see, if this water was only a foot deeper, it'd be all the way up in here. But yeah, a normal year, the water would be up here, and there'd be a thin sliver of land here. This tree didn't grow much. It looks like it's in pretty poor soil. Since I was a little boy, this tree has always been about the same size. I've even kayaked over here in this bog. Let's light it up. Looks like a beaver lodge may have been here. That might be what this thing is. That could have been the foundation of a long forgotten, rotten beaver lodge. But we're looking for creatures. I see tadpoles. I see water beetles. 2 different types of water beetles, the surface ones, and also ones under the water. There's different types of water beetles, lots of different types of tadpoles and fish. There's probably crayfish in there too. Crayfish will love it. There's so much food. So many food opportunities. This water's pretty low, but there's a good amount of water. Hopefully everyone can hide before it freezes over if the water doesn't go back up, because ice can get 3 or 4 feet thick in northern Maine. Now, I was going to say we could take the trail back, but we made it here, so that was the last bog I wanted to look at. I think we're just going to take the water back, should we? Or should we take the trail? Because normally you can't walk here. This is flooded usually. Usually you just have a little sliver of land. It's so beautiful out here. Pristine. Whoa, a dog toy. My brain didn't recognize what that was for a moment. That's why I jumped. And here is the trail. How well maintained is it? Pretty nice. Even though a trail like this might be maintained and created by humans, there's not many humans out here. Moose will walk these, keep them open. Wouldn't be surprised if we find a big old pile of moose poop while walking down this trail. And I'm quickly getting sleepy, but we're gonna walk down the other way from that tent. And I want to take a few more peeks in the big swamp for moose in the distance, because there's moose tracks everywhere. You know there's lots of moose around this area. I just don't want to come face to face with one right now on the trail. But that's why we're talking loud. When you're walking in the woods with someone, talking to them constantly, we're talking to the camera to everyone right now, animals are going to be gone. If you're out by yourself and you're all quiet, that's why they recommend you carry bear bells. If you sneak up on a bear could be pretty aggressive, especially if it has babies. But if it hears you coming from a far distance, you're never going to see that bear. It'll be long gone. I can tell by the lack of pine cones on the ground. Well, actually, most of those are spruce cones. Well, they're not crushed. There's not much foot traffic. There's a dog ball. Someone's dog lost all their toys. What do you think? Is that someone from the boat? Or someone from a boat? Or do you think someone walked in from one of those couple of houses out there at Stevens Point is what it's called. I was calling it Spencer's Point earlier. Oh, another tree across. Got over it. My shorts dried nicely. Just hanging out from that swim earlier. I remember this part of the trail from when I was little. There's so many tight trees that it's dark and scary, this part of the trail, even in the daytime. Look at all that birch bark. Great for starting a fire. But here, everything is so dry. this summer. Even at my house, there's no morning dew in the morning. It's too dry to produce it. Ooh. I think we're probably getting back to the beach. We've got to be close, right? We've got to be close. We're walking pretty fast now, and it only took us 18 minutes to go out there very slow, looking at the ground at those creature friends. Okay. A little bit overgrown right here. Ooh. Ooh, that scared me. Grouse bird. Northern Maine does not have wolves, at least not breeding wolves. Quebec has wolves, and they say a few of them could trickle down here from time to time. I've seen some pretty big coyotes. They are so big and luscious looking, they look like a husky dog. Okay, we're back. We're back to the beach. There's that big fallen tree. Nice pebble beach. We're about to walk by our bear bag and our tent, and we'll take a few more peeks in the swamp. All right, everyone, it's 7:45. This is the last spot we're gonna go to. There's no point of us going to the smaller bogs because I don't think anything will be here, but from this angle, you can really see out there. Are we gonna see a moose or anything way out there? It would be cool. Oh, lots of creatures. Any moose way out there? We're looking way out there on the outer banks. I'm probably scaring them all away. Guess not. Maybe I'll come back here some year and show you what this looks like when the water's where it usually would be. Maybe right here we'll get another good view. It's hard to tell. They'd probably blend in too well to see them. But let's not burn up our battery completely in case we need it in the morning. If I wake up early, we'll do some more exploring. I'm hoping by morning the moon will be out from behind these trees where it actually will help us on the beach. So you can't even see a glow of the sun anymore. And that means it is time to get some sleep. I think I'll sleep well here. Just leave me alone, bear. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But after seeing all those frogs and stuff, I think he's got a good food supply over there. So maybe they'll leave me alone. This is how you pump up this air mattress. There we go, fully inflated. And I went ahead and put my thick sleeping bag on top. Now we definitely won't feel the rock. It'll feel really, really nice. I just hope it gets a little cooler. It's still kind of hot out. I like the sound of the water though. Oh no, I forgot my earplugs in the backpack. No, it's okay. It's not windy, so the flapping noise that sometimes would bother me shouldn't keep me awake. But I'm going to end the video for the night, everyone. Good night, everyone. I love how the bear spray has a glow-in-the-dark top, so you can find it in the middle of the night during a bear emergency. This is as dark as it's going to get. To the naked eye, you can now walk around wherever you want. My eyes are fully adjusted. I can see actually really good outside the tent. Lots of stars. It is 9:30 at night. It is actually super bright out there. Look at that. Let's take a look at the moon. Having a little bit of trouble sleeping. Wow, you can see the shadows of the trees. It's still very hot out, and that's what's giving me some trouble sleeping. It's so bright, the moon. It got really quiet for a while. Now there's a couple of little waves starting. But I'm going back down to the bear bag. I need my earplugs. I can't sleep with just those little waves. It's keeping me awake. So we're walking back down to the bear bag. I don't even need a flashlight. That moon is so nice. Walking down without a flashlight. I got literally nothing on me right now. Don't even have a shirt. Just need to get something. I don't think I need any flashlight. I think I can get it down and get back in time. You can actually see really good out here. It's warm. It's weird for October to be this warm at night. Let me check the forecast and see what it is. Okay. I got the bear bag down. Got the earplugs. Just something this simple is the difference between a good night's sleep and a bad night's sleep. I know I would have a miserable day tomorrow if I don't get any sleep. Now I can block out the sound of the waves, block out the sound of an animal walking by, because this is pretty loud, these stones. I hear coyotes out here. I'll also be able to sleep through that, the howling and the noises of the loons. These are pleasant noises, but they'll keep me up. Somehow by walking around, I'm actually getting colder. Maybe I just needed to walk around a little bit. The moon is so bright. It's like someone's out there with a light. It's 5:30 in the morning. Look how bright the moon is. That's amazing. Full moon, and they call this the super moon, the harvest moon. I think I'm gonna start cleaning up in here. I did get about 6 hours of sleep, so that's good enough. Good morning, everyone. It is 6:30. The sun is starting to come up. Not quite up yet. It's gonna be a little longer. It's nice and warm out. I'll hang out for a little bit before we get going. It's so calm out. It's about 60 degrees or about 15 Celsius. Look at that big bright moon. The moon is still out. The sun will be coming up behind me in a moment. I was looking at this. I thought that was a bear before it started getting light out. That dark spot over there. I've been hearing loons the past hour I've been up. Let's go back here and look at the swamp. Any moose back here? They used to love hanging out back here. I don't see anyone. I'm gonna go take the bear bag down. Checking out the other pond. Nope, no one here. I heard some creatures walking around, but nothing on the beach. Just something stepping through the water behind the tent last night. This has got to be the most beautiful set of trees I've seen all season. This is the reddest of the red. This area is so beautiful. All right, all secured. Let's go make some breakfast. As I'm walking back down the beach, I'm noticing these clouds are getting really pretty. There's so many beaver chewed stumps also. A lot of beavers around. There's lots of fresh things too. The sky's getting prettier. The kayak's down to the water. The sun's not coming up yet, but I am having breakfast. So it came with one piece of bread. We're gonna have this peanut butter sandwich. We'll just put those together, take a bite out of it. That's what the Skittles look like. And now we're having coffee. We're just boiling that really good. That's lake water. There's the coffee, creamer, and sugar. The bubbles will stir it around. And we're gonna shut it down. When that cools, I'll drink my coffee. See those houses over there? I think they're in the sunshine now and it's shining. That's why I can see them so well. Yeah, that house is reflecting a ray of sunshine over here. They're in the sun, but we're not in the sun quite yet. There's a light dew on this, but I'm gonna put it away. I think it can breathe that out, but I do intend on using this again this week, so it should be fine. Let's see about taking this tent down. I seem to have an understanding of how this works, but this is my first time. Looks like you squeeze these. Whoa, that worked good. And then you pull, 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 Yeah, that's nifty and convenient. This air will push out of it as soon as we put it back in the bag. Pretty nice. All right, finally got it back in the bag. Now the bag, that was the hardest part, just getting these things to clip. But taking it down was a breeze. Interesting product. It's 7:20 and the sun is slowly coming down. It's not to where I am yet. I got everything packed up and I found a piece of, just like sea glass, the lake will smooth it out. It's not sharp. I packed everything away a little bit differently. Yesterday the backpack was behind me, so I put the backpack in front of me this time, being a little different. I put the wrapper there because I was messy. I got food all over the outside of it, so I don't want that on my stuff. We'll head out soon. I'm gonna hang out for maybe a half hour. Go for one more walk down the beach. Now it's 7:30 in the morning. Just hanging out at the picnic table. Finally, sun is at my level coming through the trees. I love this picnic table. It's so strong and the age gives it character. It looks so old and rustic. It was built so well that it's still super solid. Look at that morning sun going through the fall foliage. Looking around, shading my eyeballs, looking at the shores. Because it's a drought, moose are gonna be a little more concentrated because there's not as much mud like this. Surprised we didn't see one. All right, I guess we gotta head out. I really want to stay longer, but we got a long way back. It's gonna be a 2-hour ride, maybe a little quicker because I'm not gonna film anything on the way back. But I gotta start rowing. That'll keep me warm. It's a little bit chilly now that I'm not really doing anything. I gotta get that wet life jacket on. There's so much dew on everything. All right, take it off. I hear the sound of loons out there. Not the best angle, but we're gonna get it. Okay, almost free. Almost free. Almost free. Okay, we're floating. Whooshing off. Okay, we're out. Goodbye, beautiful beach. It's exactly 8 in the morning. We can no longer see big and little Spencer Mountains. We're about halfway back, just catching a breath. I'm gonna go all the way back the second half without stopping once. We're making really good time. There's no waves, there's no wind to influence anything. We're just going full power as fast as we can without stopping. Ooh, we got a friend and he's so close. Look how close he is. Wow. Come on, zoom in a little more. Where'd you go? Oh, where'd you go? Where'd you go? There you are. There you are. Look at you. You're a pretty loon. You're fairly close to me. Oh, disappeared under the water to go fishing. They dive. That's 'cause it's so cool. We were hearing them all morning. They make beautiful noises. Alrighty, I just stopped here. We passed those people from the other day at one of the free campsites, having a illegal fire in the morning. It's super dry out right now. I stopped right here because I noticed this. Just thought it was a piece of trash, but it looks like it is kind of a piece of trash. It's torn up, but it's a boogie board. Look at all this beautiful shale. Moosehead Lake's a perfect spot to skip rocks because there's endless supplies of this stuff around. Whew. Ooh, wow. I went so many times. You can just pull this stuff apart so easily. That one's super flat. Aw, I went in sideways. Let's see. Ooh, that first skip was awesome. All right, enough. We'll throw this away. It should be secure enough. Look at that, we got a shale cave. That looks really sharp if you bumped your head on it. All of this is shale. It just smashes apart pretty easily, actually. That's what they break up with excavator buckets and spread all over the logging roads. That's why people complain about flat tires when they go in there with the softer rubber. It's so peaceful here. More quartz. They really shine in the crystal clear water. All the quartz. I wish I had some sort of food. There's a largemouth following me. All right, we made it back. The boat ramp is right there when they used to have the ferry. I'm not 100% sure until we go up to the parking lot, but I think we're alone. But we got a few interesting rocks on this trip for the rock tumbler videos. Those are on my second channel. You'll get to see what we polish up. So here, there's actually a nice fire pit. Really nice little pebble beach right here. I've actually camped here myself a number of times. And this will not be reopened for another 20 years when they want to log that again. That's an island, all those hills, that's all an island. Yeah, we're alone. It's beautiful here. I guess that couple with their dog yesterday was just there for the beach. They didn't have a tent, they just had chairs set up. I'm gonna pull my car right up there, load the kayak, load all my supplies, and we're out of here. All right, super tight, front one, super tight, yep, good to go. We'll check that as soon as we get to the end of the dirt road. It usually doesn't loosen, but for safety, we will check before we get out onto the highways. Goodbye, Moosehead Lake. That was fun. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.